Because if by the end of this, y'all don't call for the immediate removal of Keith Christopher Rowley as Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and his entire government, then something is wrong with you. If all that I've said before has not led you all there to realize that unity is necessary and we have to use every legal means to get rid of Keith Christopher Rowley as Prime Minister, well then this here is the final nail in his political coffin. I'm going to start at the truth and work backwards. Imagine I have to do that because Rowley lies so much, so blatantly. He's so pathological. And the more he lies, the more he shouts. So let's start with the truth. The truth is that the Bastille Pandey-led government back in 1997 instituted a commission headed by Mr. Sabga with other commissioners to do a report on children's homes in Trinidad and Tobago. That report became known as the Sabga Report. It was chaired by Mr. Robert Sabga. He gave that report to the Prime Minister Bastille Pandey, and Bastille Pandey, the UNC Prime Minister, laid the report in Parliament. He made the report public. The police had sight of the report. Furthermore, Bastille Pandey and the government instituted from the report, which, unlike what some people are saying, did not name names and so on, except for one security guard and one nun. But that was irrelevant. The government, the United National Congress government, laid the report in Parliament and immediately set in motion actions coming out of the report. Actually put up the laws that came out from the 97 report, Sabga report. Here are some of the bills and laws that were brought to the Parliament by Bastille Pandey, Ramesh, Lawrence Maharaj, Kamala Prasad Bisesa. The Children's Authority Bill 1999, which meant that the entire concept of the Children's Authority came out of the Robert Sabga report by Bastille Pandey and the UNC. The Children's Amendment Bill 1999, the Adoption of Children Bill, the Miscellaneous Provisions Children Bill, the Community Residential Foster Homes and Nurseries Bill, all 1999 under Bastille Pandey. The bill was laid in Parliament. How do we know that? Because, well, first of all, let me say, let's go through now what Keith Christopher Rowley said. Actually, no. Let me continue with the truth. So we know that it was laid in Parliament. We see also the Hansard from Ramesh Diosra, and you could put up that also, Archie, if you get it. But more importantly, you put this picture, but there's also an image, a Hansard of his, that leave him there for now. But Camille Robinson Regis, who is now the minister, me I know what ministry she's in charge of now, housing or something, right? But she is the lead government official in the Parliament, the leader of government business. Robinson Regis, after Diosaran, this gentleman, independent Senator Ramesh Diosaran, after he spoke about the Sabga report, and he spoke about it on the Hansard in November 19, 2000, Independent Senator Professor Ramesh Diosaran spoke of the existence of the report and invited then Minister of Legal Affairs Camille Robinson Regis to read it. Diosaran was speaking during a debate on a bill to amend the Children's Authority Act. He said, and he spoke about it, he said the gentleman who did the report under the Ministry of Social Development was Mr. Robert Sabga, who had a destiny of his own. And he said that the government is busy with the legislative aspects of this problem in terms of the substantive issue of children care. And he went on. He read the report in detail, analyzed it, because it was laid in Parliament. It was not hidden. It was not, they were not, copies were not destroyed. It was there in the parliament for all who could read, remember, and see. For all those who are not suffering from dementia to know that it was there. The UNC and the Ambassador Pandey brought laws based on reading and the terrible acts that were in that report. They brought a slew of legislation. And there we have, it was laid in parliament. We appointed a committee which was headed by Dr. Robert Sabga to investigate homes in this country. I think this is Manohar Ramsaran. And that report is somewhere in the parliament. It was laid in parliament, right? And he went on to discuss it. Furthermore, come back to Miachi. Camille Robinson Regis, after responding in the Senate to Professor Ramesh Diosran, said, she acknowledged the existence of the report and told the Senate it was being used by the then government to inform policy. And I now quote from her Hansard, because this was printed in the Guardian, page 9. Now this is a front page story to show that the Prime Minister is a dastardly liar. But one newspaper prints it and they print it on page 9. Listen to the Hansard of then Minister of Social Development of the People's National Movement government, Camille Robinson Regis, in responding to Professor Ramesh Diosran's discussion and discourse on the Robert Sabga report, which was laid in Parliament. In fact, that particular Sabga report, says Camille Robinson Regis, was used by the then Ministry of Social Development to examine all the issues as they related to the care of children. The issues that were raised in that report were very revealing in the circumstances where our society had depended on a number of foster homes to ensure care for our young children and for children who had suffered abandonment by their families. That report did in fact inform quite a number of the policies that were developed during that period, especially as they related to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, Robinson Regis told the Senate. Also, Hansard reports also showed the report was raised again on June 2nd, 2006 by former Minister of Social Development Manohar Ramsaran during the debate on the appropriation bill. We appointed a committee which was headed by Robert Sabga to investigate homes in this country, and that report is there in the parliament. It was laid in parliament, said Manohar Ramsaran. But yet, the Prime Minister moved this man, put back Keith Christopher, pathological lying Rowley. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago does the following. Now keep in mind that he has been the Member of Parliament for Dago Martin West since 1991. So, when all the abuse and children and the PNM went from 1956 to 1986 and then 1991 to 1995, and abuse was going on in homes and so on, he is a Member of Parliament. He was a Senator in 1987 and then a Member of Parliament for Dago Martin West in 1991 to 95. He was also the Member of Parliament for Dago Martin West in 1995 to 2001, right? When the Sabga report was laid in the Parliament. He was seated there. You understand? He was there when it was put there. It was laid in Parliament. Yet this clown, this liar, this disgusting excuse for a human being says the following. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley yesterday issued the public call to the acting police commissioner McDonald Jacob as he disclosed he was now advised. He was not now advised, this is Express page 5, Tuesday, 17 May, that the Justice Judith Jones Committee sought diligently to get access to the Sabga report, but even their best efforts could not provide them with a copy from the source. So he is saying, and Justice Judith Jones, you and your committee need to answer. He is saying that you, Judith Jones, looked for the Sabga report up and down all over and you could not find it. Judith Jones, Honorable Justice, Chairperson of the Police Service Commission, the Prime Minister said that you and your committee searched high and low And the Sabga report, the Robert Sabga report, you could not find it. Judith Jones, do you see this? There's the report. There's a member of the Robert Sabga Commission. Do you see what she's holding in her hand? A report. So Judith Jones, the Prime Minister, said that you search, you mean you did not call former Senator Diana Mahabir Wyatt, who was a member of the commission? You mean you didn't call Robert Sabga and get a copy of the report? Because the Honorable Prime Minister is stating here that you, Judith Jones, Honorable Judith Jones, that the Commissioner McDonald Jacob disclosed that he was now advised that the Judith Jones, so DCP Jacobs, you too, he put all in it. So DCP Jacobs, this man said that you told him that Judith Jones and them could not find this report? Really? Rowley said that the public called to acting Police Commissioner McDonald Jacob as he disclosed that he was now advised that the Justice Judith Jones Committee sought diligently to get access to the Sabga report, but even their best efforts could not provide them with a copy from the source. So they couldn't just call Sabga. Boxopots find Sabga. Boxopots on in the ring in Gayal find Sabga. But Judith Jones Committee and Task Force could not find Robert Sabga, and they could not find Diana Mahabir Wyatt, but the Newsday photographer found it though in less than 2 hours. And there she is sitting down with a copy. So Judith Jones didn't know to check in Parliament where it was laid. Judith Jones, that brilliant, intelligent woman. You see, when you're lying, you must not put people into your lie. Rowley continued. He said in a Facebook post, the Prime Minister expressed shock and anger about reading about the Sabga report in the media. The Sunday Express reported exclusively, and Express are coming to you because you are sick as this pathological liar. But you have deep pockets, and you going and get a slew of lawsuits coming. Just now I'll deal with you, Express. The Sunday Express reported exclusively on the content of the 25-year-old report, which was never laid in Parliament. Really? It was never laid in Parliament. Manohar Ramsaran said it was laid in Parliament. It was laid in Parliament. Ramesh Diosaran, independent senator, was debating and discussing it being laid in Parliament. And also Camille Robinson Regis Express spoke about it here. Look, the Guardian have it right here in her debate as she was a PNM minister back then of social development. She spoke in detail about the report that had been laid in Parliament. Express, brilliant journalism, Express. Rowley stated that through the local media, he is now discovering that there was or is a Sabga report produced by investigators who inspected and collected information. So, bossman, where you wasn't in the Parliament? 1997, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007. You wasn't a member of Parliament for Diego Martin West. So either something drastically wrong with you, or you are a nasty liar, boy. The report was laid in Parliament, and you are telling the people as Prime Minister, you are now learning about this Sabga report? When you have a Judith Jones report, Justice Jones report on your desk since December 13, 2021, and you have done nothing, and children are still being in the hands of murderers, rapists, batterers, assaulters, abusers, and you do nothing. So you now hearing, so you wasn't in the Parliament. That was another, you bipolar, or you are multiple split personality. That was another Oreo lion clown, not you. Okay, let's continue. Rowley said, I am shocked, scandalized, and angry as a result of what I have read in the local media, where some of our worst suspicions appear to have been long confirmed, and known perpetrators have been protected and aided by persons and institutions known and unknown. Yes? You're so shocked and scandalized? You weren't shocked and scandalized by the Judy Jones report that you have since December 13, 2020, and you have done nothing. But let's go now to the other one, Express newspaper. And if editors and reporters and those who did this are not fired, and if apologies are not forthcoming in the most meaningful and prominent manner, Express, good luck to you. I'm going long tonight, don't worry. I'm taking my time. Actually, bring some water for your boy. This is the Express editorial. Monday, 16th May 2022. Sabga report scandal, says the Express. It is bad enough that former Social Development Minister Manohar Ramsaran and the Pandey administration failed to act on the dynamite findings of the Sabga Task Force report into children's homes and institutions back in 1997. Failed to act? We just showed you how they acted. They laid the report in Parliament. The Children's Authority and a slew of legislation came out of the Robert Sabga report. The report was given to the police. The report was a public document. The report was laid in Parliament. It was debated, and a lot of child protection issues and laws and legislation came forward. But the Express, so you start off with a false, dishonest, disgusting premise, and you're calling people names. Manohar Ramsaran and Pandey so far. There are 2 lawsuits already. Let's see if we can get some more lawsuit for you. Ramsaran, this marks him out as having been completely unfit for the job. So a former minister who did his job, you concoct and lie on a man and then state in an editorial that this marks him out as having been completely unfit for the job. In what universe, we wonder, is the willful decision to condemn children to abuse and torture not malicious? The dangerous and antediluvian thinking demonstrated by Ramsaran has condemned generations of children in state care to horrific physical and psychological abuse and torture. Had the Pandey administration acted on the Sabga report with the urgency required, the scourge of physical and sexual abuse existing in children's homes today would have been eradicated, if not completely, then substantially. Instead, the government, meaning the Pandey government, this is the Express, buried it in a massive state cover-up for which Ramsaran, then Prime Minister Bastio Pandey, then Attorney General Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj, and the rest of the cabinet, including current opposition leader Kamla Prasad Bisesa, the then Legal Affairs Minister, must now account. No, Express, you must now account for your defamatory, disgusting, nasty lies to attack the characters of citizens who have served this country at the highest level. 2 former prime ministers, Attorney General, Minister Manohar Ramsaran, one of the best sports ministers ever. The report was laid in Parliament. Put back up those bills. Action was taken. There was no cover-up. There was no massive state cover-up. This is the worst attack and defamatory editorial in the history of Caribbean journalism. The Children's Authority Bill 1999 came out of the Sabga report. The Children Amendment Bill 1999, the Adoption of Children Bill, the Miscellaneous Provisions Children Bill, the Children's Community Residences, Foster Homes and Nurseries Bill. So where do you get your lies from that the report was hidden and a massive state cover-up and calling and defaming people like Bastille Pandey, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj, Manohar Ramsaran, and the entire cabinet? So Kwai Tong and Yet Ming and all of them, Jolene John, all of them, you calling in this lie express? It wasn't done there. Until she explains her own inaction. Well, you're gone more on Kamla Prasad because you're being unmasked now. I knew it all the time, but now the entire country knows it. So now the Express creates a false position, fabricates and lies in the most dastardly, because any human being, just like what is happening now with this one, who would sit on a report or hide a report and don't take action, is vile. They don't deserve to be in any form of leadership. This man has sat on a report since December 13, 2021. Express, you care about that. You going to lie and concoct and create a cover-up and then blame the UNC and then come now to attack the current leader of opposition and former prime minister and the next prime minister of Trinidad and Tobago, when people start to realize that these newspapers, you, Express, have now gone to the head of the corrupt, disgusting class. And you have lawsuits coming from Bastille Pandey, Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj, Manohar Ramsaran, and Kamla Prasad Bisesa, because they continued. Until she explains her own inaction in 1997, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa will lack the moral authority to castigate the Rowley government for its handling of the recent Justice Judith Jones report into children's homes, while her demand for justice for today's abused children will ring hollow and reek of political opportunism. Well, if that is not the most defamatory, disgusting, nasty attack I have ever seen, I don't know what is. Because every citizen knows that Kamla Prasad Bisesa loves children more than anything. When you look at her style in government, her cabinet notes, her emphasis, she put her money where her mouth is, where there's children life fund, children, baby grant, baby mothers, single mothers, differently abled children, children grants for school for differently able, increase in sport funding for children across the board, culture, opportunities, laptops, building 106 schools, Montessori schools, increased payment for teachers, children opportunities, MIC across the board, increased gate funding. Kamla Prasad loves children, and you have defamed and attacked her where it hurts the most, Express. This is the most sick piece of nasty lying journalism I have ever seen. And it wasn't done there. All of this concocted lies, and it shows the nastiness. So, Express, you couldn't check the Hansard. You didn't even call Robert Sabga and say, well, where the report? You didn't call Diana Mahabia Wyatt. There's a cover-up. Look, the report there. So this lady would be involved in a cover-up also, this lady here, who spent her life fighting for children. Express, just to attack the UNC, that's the level you will go to? I'm continuing. Sunday Express exclusive report. When the Pandey government was faced with the explosive findings of the Sabga report, it opted against laying the report in Parliament. Really? Who wrote this? Who wrote this? And instructed all task force members to destroy their copies? Really? What's this? This is the Newsday front page, Wednesday, 18 March 2022. Express, what's this that Miss Diana Mahabir Wyatt, patriot. If she has not received the Order of Merit of Trinidad and Tobago, she will receive the Order of Merit of Trinidad and Tobago. One of the classiest, heartwarming, patriotic, soul-searching, our kind of Mother Teresa, this lady here. She's holding the report in her hand. But you are writing in your editorial that Pastor Pandey instructed members. Robert Sabga had a report, he reading out and so on with boxer pots on in the ring. Dana, you are saying that former Prime Minister Bastio Pandey and the UNC instructed task force members to destroy their reports? Really?
Sound check.
Actually, zoom in here, man. Zoom in here for the Express. Zoom in.
Sound.
And she also said in the article, all could come, she have a thing. Nobody, Rowley, nobody call her. Nobody call her. She said she willing to give them the report. That is her copy there. Right? But nobody, DCP Jacob, nobody couldn't find it. They said Judith Jones couldn't find it. None all you could find. Look, the lady here, she was on the committee. All it took was one little phone call. And she don't hide. This is a lady who's been in the public eye, fighting for children, fighting for citizens. That's a patriotic woman. So Express continued. Sunday Express exclusive report. When the Pandey government was faced with the explosive findings of the Sabga report, it opted against laying the report in Parliament and instructed all task force members to destroy their copies, effectively shutting down the investigative initiative. As legal advisor to the Pandey cabinet in 1997, Attorney Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj owes the country an explanation for his decision. You Express owe the country an explanation for your lies and vile defamatory statements written and penned in an editorial without an iota of checking, damaging people's reputations. This is disgusting. Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj, Basdio Pandit owe you nothing. You will owe them millions. Kamla Prasad said, owe you nothing. You will owe her millions. Manohar Ramasarando owe you nothing. You will owe them millions because of your insane love for this miscreant teacher who had sex with a girl of school age. Continuing, the Express says, it does not explain the failure to send the Sabga report to the police for investigation while immediately rescuing the children from the state-funded snake pit of abuse and torture. Really? Laid in Parliament, public document, legislation, police had it, everybody have it, task force have it. What you need to be asking is whoever was the police commissioner, what did they do? Because the report did not name names except for one security guard and a nun. Okay? So you have to go back and see who was the commissioner of police then. What did they do with the report? Where did their investigations go? Where did it lead? A government, Bastio Pandey, the UNC is not the government, the police. Rowley feel he's the police. He is bringing Miss Kate and paying money and saying, telling the DCP what to do, where to go, who to charge and so on. That's not the normal functioning of an independent police service. Pandey, the executive, did their job. They got the report. They laid it in Parliament. They took legislative action. They took actions to try to improve the lot. That's their job. The police, you have to go and ask them what did they do when they received the report. Because they did. It's laid in Parliament. What nonsense are you printing? And then the Express says, we may never know what impact that seminal failure had on the children of 1997 and others who have since followed them into state care. But they are all owed an apology as a start of restitution. You owe so many apologies for this disgusting bag of lies, this defamatory, fabricated, disgusting, and in the most vile manner, because to attack human beings at the very core of humanity, that they would be and hide a report that is But I can't even say it. That's what you're accusing Pandey of. Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj, Manohar Ramsar, and Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and the cabinet of the UNC express you all should be fired. All. It ain't done there now. Rowley, on the heels of this nastiness now, because he and the Express are the same pathological, dishonest liars. So he was bolstered by this Express fabrication and his lack of recollection. Well, then he should resign because he's senile. Or his abject total lies once again because he was in Parliament when it was laid, debated, and all of that. So Rowley then went on now. Prime Minister slams the UNC on children's issue. The Prime Minister quoted liberally from the Express. You see? See what I say? He quoted liberally from this piece of nonsense. So you, Klong, you get your court clothes ready too. The Prime Minister quoted liberally from the Express editorial of Monday, saying it was the most damning condemnation of office holders ever seen in an editorial. Yes, it was. There's one problem, dum-dum. It wasn't true. It was lies. And thanks for adding to the money that the Express will have to pay to all of those former office holders and current office holders. It wasn't an overnight situation. It was an ongoing kind of chronic situation, simmering where these homes had issues and where we put a team in place to put our fingers on the pulse of it. The team reported on December 13th. This is talking about the Judith Jones report, December 13th. We gave the report to the government departments to look at immediately, and the government in March. So December to March, nothing. Took a decision to lay it in Parliament. Laid in Parliament in April, no action. Children being killed, battered, raped, abused, beaten, and burned. And this is this Klong saying that he had a discussion. What was being said and published by the media, which appears to have a copy of the report, was that people, some of whom were in the UNC government, had information of criminal conduct perpetrated against those unfortunate children, and they hid the report. Really? Hid the report? Yes, you and the Express. Huh? You and the Express, all you're going down together. Well, they didn't hide the report.
Good evening, a special good evening to the United National Congress, a special good evening to the political leader of the United National Congress, Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa of Senior Council. So, I am Chris Hussein and we are here at the Sangre Grande TNT Speaks. And we are very excited to see what our speakers have in store for us today. So just before, we're doing a little pre-show right now, so just before, I want to do a little interview with the Public Relations Officer of the United National Congress, Dr. Kirk Megu. So I want to invite Dr. Kirk Megu to this space right now. Dr. Megu, how do you feel to be at TNT Speaks once again this week?
Well, good. It's always good to be here on Thursday, the different parts of the country, to see our supporters everywhere, the councillors, the different speakers, and it's always a good vibe.
Definitely, definitely. So we are here. And just to segue a bit, we would have seen a lot of interesting publications, a lot of news that came out into the media this past couple of days. There was a very explosive Sabga report. What are your thoughts on what we would have seen with that report thus far?
Well, it is so fortunate that we are able to revisit this gross injustice that has happened in our history, that was buried by the PNM, and that they have now, as they usually do, what the PNM do is whenever they are guilty of something, they blame the UNC for that exact thing. So they blame the UNC for burying it when the UNC did nothing of the sort. It was front page news in the Daily Mirror because perhaps the established papers were compromised with that elite ring. We had 6 pieces of legislation. We put it through the JSC. It was ready by the year 2000, but we had elections in 2000, and then in 2001, PNM took office, and then when they took office, they squashed it, right? So, and then they buried it, and now they have the gall to say that the UNC buried it. Because what are they doing right now? Trying to bury the Judith Jones report. So because of this second cover-up with the Judith Jones report, we have now got a chance to revisit that 97 report. And thankfully, Mr. Sabga came and did that interview to raise those questions again, and we are pursuing it. And I think the country is now braver to stand up. Yeah, whereas before maybe they were intimidated because that elite, really had the country tied up. So,
did the United National Congress government ever enact legislation based on the 1997 Task Force report to protect children?
Yes, there were 6 pieces of legislation, I believe it was, and that includes establishing the Children's Authority. It was talking about adoption and children's care home, and then a children's bill in general. So there are about 6, a suite of legislation, institutions, infrastructure, again, that we passed through Parliament, went through the JSC, and all it needed to do was to be proclaimed and established, and the PNM refused to do that. Right? And in fact, and Keith Rowley and Camille Robinson Regis, they are liars, total liars, for saying they don't know about this. In the Hansard, in the Parliament, it's there. Ramesh Deosaran, Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj, Manohar Ramsaran, right, in 2002, 2006, 2008, right, kept bringing it up. It's on the Hansard there. So, so despite what they say, the records are there to show them, to prove them liars.
I would have looked keenly, and the United National Congress Women's League, they also would have challenged the PNM Women's League. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yes, again, because the PNM Women's League, what they're doing, as usual, is defending PNM men and attacking other women. That is what the PNM Women's League is for. It's absurd. And what they're doing, they're covering for abusers. They're covering for accused pedophiles. That's what they're doing. They're behaving like women that enable their husbands, brothers, sons, family members who engage in this horrific abuse. Because sadly, many of these men are enabled by women. And that is the role the PNM Women's League are playing. Because they only jumped out of their skin after 25 years because 2 PNM high officials have been named. So they are trying to block for them. So what they're trying to do is not really stand for justice for Akil. What they are trying to do is prevent their PNM men from being prosecuted. That is disgusting.
And you are saying this because a report would have suggested that one of the persons who would have been present at this particular horrific event would have been a PNM official, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it was Robert Sabga himself in an interview. Right, so remember, his report was 1997. That sad, tragic event with Akil Chambers, which is just really horrifying to think about. That was in 1998, right? But in 1997, so his report identified identified members of the PNM as being part of this pedophile ring where the children's homes were being used to groom children. Right? And so what he found was that the coroner's report in the Akil Chambers case, which is after the 97 report, the next year, found the DNA of two PNM high officials in the anus of the little boy, of the dead boy. That is just so horrifying. But that's what the coroners found. And that's what Robert Sabga revealed in the interview that he did on May 3rd.
I also saw a press release was sent out to the Express newspapers. Would you care to share with our audience a bit more on that as well?
For the Express to apologize? Right, yeah. So we're waiting for the Express to apologize. They did publish a letter of mine today that I had sent previously. So hopefully they will also print the call for the apology and apologize as well. But the Express editorial, whoever wrote that editorial, because it's not the same person that writes the editorial all the time, that editorialist essentially did the same thing that the Women's League did, and they followed Simon de Nobrega's talking points. They followed Keith Rowley's talking points, which are totally based on lies. They didn't do elementary research. They didn't check the Hansard. They didn't check the parliamentary records. They just, if Keith Rowley said he never heard of it, they said, and Keith Rowley said it was buried, they said it was buried. The Express, maybe the Express buried it because it wasn't front page news of the Express in 1997. It was front page news of the Mirror. And so for the Express now to say Kamla Persad-Bissessar has no moral authority, what? The Express has no moral authority, none whatsoever. Kamla Persad-Bissessar not only was part of that government that put in that whole suite, that was then suppressed for 9 years under the PNM, but then as soon as they got back into government, and this time with Kamla Persad-Bissessar as Prime Minister, she not only implemented and enabled that, but a whole set of other things for women and children, including the Kuva Hospital, the Children's Life Fund, laptops for children, grants for single mothers, all these things never ever done before in our country's history. Right?
All right, so I want to thank you, Dr. Megu, for the short interview, and I want everyone who is locked in on the live to continue looking on. This is the United National Congress. TNT Speaks, and we are in Sangre Grande.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Let us welcome you, our viewing audience and our live audience, to TNT Speak. We are live from Sangre Grande. At this point in time, I would like to ask everyone to stand at attention for our national anthem. please remain standing as we invite son of the soil of Sangre Grande, Carlos Budram, to lead us in prayer.
Let us bow our head and close our eyes. Heavenly Father, as we come before you tonight, Lord, I ask you, Lord, that you bless each and every one of us here tonight, Lord. Bless the speakers tonight. Bless our political leader tonight, Lord. Bless everything tonight. Let us be successful, Lord Jesus. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Carlos. And at this time, I would like to introduce your two chairmen for the afternoon's proceeding. I would like to invite Mr. Calvin Cicharan, Councillor for Sangre Grande South, and Keon Sarup Singh, Alderman on the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. Please give them a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Alderman Angie. Good evening, good evening, good evening, Sangre Grande. Good evening, Sangre Grande. Good evening, Sangre Grande. Good evening, and welcome to this evening's program of TNT Speaks, live from the constituency of Toco Sangre Grande, and live right here at the Sangre Grande Hindu School, the electoral district of Northwest. My brothers and sisters, first allow me to send greetings to our political leader, the Honorable Ms. Kamala Prasad Bisasa. Good evening, political leader, on behalf of all the people here at Sangre Grande. Good evening to all viewing via social media on whatever platform you might be on. Good evening. My brothers and sisters, this is one of the many programs that the UNC has introduced to you, the people, where we, the UNC, can bring information to you, the people. We are seen on national television, on the newspapers, on social media, where a lot is happening in our country today. And because the UNC cares for you, we believe that it's only right that we bring it to you physically also. So this evening, I'm joined here by my colleague, Alderman Keon Sarup Singh, where he will introduce the first speaker for this evening proceedings.
Good afternoon, Toco Sangre Grande. Good afternoon, Toco Sangre Grande. Good afternoon. The first speaker, his speaker is well known in the electoral district of Northwest. He was the chairman of the Toco Sangre Grande executive, a well-known activist, a man who was also the Northeast region coordinator. Let us welcome Mr. Pagai.
A pleasant good night to my UNC family. Okay, my job here is very short. My job is to welcome you, the activists, the warriors, and those at the head table to Toco Sangre Grande. Toco Sangre Grande tonight is receiving the UNC's national conversation in the East. So I want to, without any further ado, I want to welcome you here, and I want to welcome all the speakers so that as we finish tonight, we will be ready for any political battle. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. David John. My friends, this evening we have a battery of speakers here for you. We have speakers from the corporation, we have community activists line up here to speak for you, we have past senators line up here to speak to you, and we also have MPs that will be here joining us shortly to speak to you. So we have covered all the bases where we believe is vital to bring information to you this evening. So moving forward with our program this evening, I want to introduce to you the next speaker. He was a former senator, economist by profession, the young and intelligent Mr. Taharqa Obika.
Sangre Grande, good evening. Sounding good. You see, if it's nice, do it twice. Sangre Grande, good evening. And good evening, of course, to Honorable Political Leader, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. I see the Prime Minister has gone to Guyana, Keith Rowley. He might as well stay there, because really and truly Trinidad and Tobago will be better off the day Keith Rowley leaves office. Now, $3 billion extra will be spent in this economy. The Minister of Finance came on Monday and delivered a mid-year review telling the citizens of this country that everything is fine. For the first 7 months of the fiscal year, from October to April, this government has earned $1 billion extra every month than they plan to earn. $1 billion extra every month. Now, how much of that billions found its way to Toco Sangre Grande? How much of that billions found its way to Toco Sangre Grande? Did he announce that as of next month, every single school child will get a laptop? No. Did he announce that every single primary school student will get a tablet? No. But yet we still see the Prime Minister posing with laptops in his constituency. Nobody care about that. He wants to soothe his guilt. Because as far as Keith Rowley is concerned, Dunsiead children don't deserve laptops. Because these children of Trinidad and Tobago, they are Dunsiead. Not his children. Not his grandchildren. Because laptop easy, they get in laptop, they get in smartwatch, they get in smartphone, everything. So it's good for his children, but not good for our children. $3 billion extra they came to spend. What did they spend it on? There are citizens in this country who couldn't get the rental assistance during COVID. They added $500,000 extra. As if Faris family in Alexandria didn't get enough money. They add $500,000 extra, that is dust, just to fix some CCTV cameras and to outfit some stuff on the 6th floor of one of his buildings. $500,000. $30 million plus for lawyers, one of which is the new Attorney General. And by the way, when asked by our MPs in the lower house, who are these lawyers that get these millions of dollars? He said, no. I have to get the permission first. When it was under Anand Ramlogan as Attorney General, and the PNM asked, who are the lawyers that are getting state briefs? Did he say that he had to get the permission from the lawyers first? I'm not hearing you. Did he say he had to get permission from those lawyers first? No. So how come when the PNM is in power, all of a sudden we have to ask permission to find out where your tax dollars went to pay PNM lawyers? Now, $3 billion extra to come with. How much find its way to Sangre Grande? Because you see, under Kamala Persad-Bissessar, we had a national transformation plan. And anchoring the east-west corridor in the east was Sangre Grande. Sangre Grande, the regional corporation, or what it is, the constituency of Kumuto Manzanilla and Toco Sangre Grande put together, anchored the corridor. What does that mean? That means that the entire east-west corridor, from the lighthouse in Port of Spain by City Gate, all the way to Ojo Road Junction in Sangre Grande, would be a development zone where families in Sangre Grande could get access to financing to develop businesses that are relevant to your needs in your community, so that you could develop, so that all the money ain't going to one man family to get rental and one big lawyer to get state briefs. That wealth will be shared with you. Now let me tell you something. For the first 6 years, the PNM government was in power crying, complaining. If you listen to the news from this week, you would realize that the PNM has started singing that song that they love to sing. Money, ain't no problem. They have started singing that song already because of the war in Russia and Ukraine and COVID-19. They are washed with money. But how much of that money is spent on CDAP medication for you in the hospitals? When it is that people in Sangre Grande still have to go and fill prescriptions with their own money for simple medication, senior citizens having to pay $1,000, $2,000 because they're not putting money in the CDAP program, we know that this government is not fair. This government is taking advantage of the citizens. So for you in Sangre Grande, I am required to give a short message tonight. So what is the message? You need to mobilize. Because if they didn't find it fit to give you money, and as they get extra money, all they could do is give extra money to Alwari family. But your child still cannot get a laptop. There are children in this country, and we are sure of this in the UNC, that are not in school, not because the parents fear COVID, but because the parents don't have the money to buy a school uniform for them. And that is why the political leader of the United National Congress, Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, called on the government to give a one-time uniform grant. Because the children were home for 2 years. But did they listen? $3 billion extra. How much money would it take to give each child that doesn't have a school shoes, a book bag, and a school uniform, clothes, so they could go to school? They do not care about your children. GATE program, as I close on this one. If you want your child to go to university, the Minister of Tourism is on record as saying, your child going to university abroad, you might send them Grenada to study medicine. You might send them Jamaica. You might send them to England, Canada, United States, and you can't get US dollars to send for them. This government Minister of Tourism said that you are a fool for sending your child away and you don't have US to give them. And he said that not on a PNM platform by a rum shopping. He said that in the parliament. It is on record, so you can go and check it for yourself. Just 2 months ago. So, I want you, the faithful of the United National Congress, I want you the disenchanted with the PNM. I want you people of Sangre Grande. Sangre Grande really and truly is the rainbow that Trinidad and Tobago is. Because it's the melting pot of all of us. Here, every creed and race truly finds an equal place. And in the United National Congress, as you listen to your local government councillors, as you listen to your aldermen from the UNC, as you listen to the activists that are gathered here on this stage, like Brother John, join in this movement. Join with us so that when the local government election bell is rung, we send a strong message to this government that the people of Sangre Grande are fed up. We will not be taken advantage of anymore. And we will take back this country for good governance under the umbrella of the United National Congress. I thank you.
Thank you, Senator Obika. My people of Toco Sangre Grande, enough is enough. Enough is enough. It have family in this election, in this constituency, can't even send them kids to school. It have family depending on sending their kids, not even a grant. It have family that depend even to send the child to school or buy food. That is the state we reach in this country today, my brothers and sisters. It's time for we to vote out this wicked, vindictive government, my brothers and sisters. The next speaker is a community activist. He screened for the UNC in 2019. Although he was not successful, he committed himself to work with the UNC, he worked with the candidate to ensure that the UNC stay alive. Let's welcome Mr. Darren Thomas.
A special good night to our political leader, Kamla Prasad Bisesa. And a special good night to our head table. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Darren Timothy, and I grew up on Forster Road, which falls in the Sangre Grande Northeast District. In 2019, around this time, I received a phone call from a friend asking me if I would consider getting involved in politics. And I said yes. My friend asked if I would like to run for local office in the upcoming local government election. And I said, sure, not a problem. There I was told it would be on a United National Congress ticket. And I must admit, I was a bit skeptical. Nevertheless, I had already said yes. You see, I grew up in a PNM till I die family. And even though I have always wanted to get involved in politics, for the sake of helping my community, I have always said to myself, I will never go to a political party. I will let the political party come to me. So I stuck with my decision. But life has a way, when we plan, God would plan better. Katrina Charles was chosen for the Sangre Grande Northeast seat. But before losing to her, we were asked a question. If not selected, would you support the candidate? My friends, many of us say yes. But in most instances, that is not what happens. The night after Ms. Charles was announced as a candidate for Sangre Grande Northeast, I received another phone call. On the other side of the line was Katrina Charles. She said, Darren, I need your support. I need you on my team. I cannot win this alone. I said, no problem. I give you my word. I will be there with you. On nomination day, we went to file our paperwork. And as life would have it, there was a mix-up, and I had to step in and become her election agent. This being my first real involvement in politics, which I had no real knowledge about, but under the guidance and stewardship of Mr. Feroz Khan and Mr. Joseph Tony, together with the rest of the team, we fought a hard election. And around 5 p.m. on election day, the candidate for the PNM was seen in front of polling station crying. Signs of defeat were showing. But unfortunately, we lost that seat by very little votes. But we won the corporation. You see, the other party has a way. They would come in at the last minute and steal the election by some very questionable means.
Yes, tell them.
Nevertheless, by the time general election 2020 rolled around, I was out of a job. You see, at the time of local election 2019, I worked for a company in Shogunas. And as soon as the local election ended, victimization started. I'll save the details of that situation for another time. But I will tell you this. I was pressured out of my job as a senior manager because of my alliance with the United National Congress. At work, I also had a close friend that supported me during this time. He even left his home in Port of Spain to come to work with us in Sangre Grande Northeast on several occasions. He too was pressured out of his job. Sadly, on the morning of February 19, 2021, I got a call from his wife to inform me that he had taken his life. The pressures of not being able to provide for his family not being able to provide for his family the way he was accustomed to, got the better of him. From time to time, I feel guilty for this. So as I stand here tonight, I pledge to do all within my power to ensure the United National Congress remove the PNM from office, because I owe him that much. The general election came, and once again, Toco Sangre Grande was stolen from us. And then the calls stopped coming. My friends, that is where my quarrel is tonight. Whenever the election rolls around, calls are plenty. But the election is fought, and the calls stop coming, win, lose, or draw. And if we treat our own that is close to us in such a way, how are we to treat our constituents? The activists, when we walk, we would hear the cries of the people. We don't want to see no politician. As election done, we don't see all you. All you only know we when it's election time. My friends, I felt the very same way after the last general election. But thank God for people like Mr. Badalu, Vijay Gosang, Nabila Greene, Susan Holla, who would call and check up on me from time to time. Even if we met, we would stop and talk. They kept me informed as to what is going on in the United National Congress. My friends, we cannot continue to operate like that and expect to win an election. We must rethink our strategy. We need to keep meetings with our activists, keep them informed of what the party is doing so they too can spread the word. Where it is possible, bring back the party groups. Keep our members enlightened when the PNM is trying to pull wool over the eyes of the nation so that they too can spread the word. We must continue to keep meetings after the election is over so the councillors could hear the concerns of the activists too. They could have a voice. We cannot expect our MPs, councillors, and aldermen to do it alone. They need our support. We need to show the youths of Toco Sangre Grande that their votes are worth much more than what is being offered to them on election day. To the older ones here tonight, we know the youths don't listen to the news. They don't read the newspapers. It is our job to bring the truth to them. It is important that when the spin doctors try to spin their web of lies and deceit, we bring out the true story. Push the information as much as possible on social media, because that's where the youth spend most of their time. We must guide them accordingly. My colleagues, I say to you tonight, there's a war that is quickly approaching. Not a physical war, but a political war. And we need to get ready. We need to start laying the groundwork. But first and foremost, we need to get the teamwork going. Because the only way the dream works is when the team works. My friend, gone are the days when we could be divided amongst ourselves. Let us stand united. Let us hold hands firmly through this raging war. The sunrise is soon, brother and sister. Soon over the horizon, our great leader will change the trending winds of strife and lead us to a safe place where parents can be certain that they will feed their babies. Where gate was accessible, where children received laptops, where hospital and schools were constructed, infrastructural development could be recognized. A leader with a vision, a leader with a heart for the people, a leader who holds firm to democracy, and one who can take us out of the shambles of this reckless government. Friends, it is time to grab hold of our country collectively and rescue it from its current demise. Remove yourself from the I want a PNM, I'll die one. Open your rational minds and see that we as a people We deserve more. There's a greater experience from the womb to the tomb. My brothers and sisters, wake up from your slumber. Enter into the ark of safety. Let us get started and moving. Let us stand united and impactful. God bless our leader. God bless the rising sun. May the God bless the United National Congress, and may our God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Darren Timothy, and I believe we can give Mr. Timothy another round of applause. We heard directly from Mr. Timothy how the PNM operate. Because he assisted in the local government elections in 2019, he lost his job. His friend lost his job, leading to suicide. My friend, this is just another page of the PNM book. Another page. I don't think none of us here is surprised about that.
Another PNM story.
Another PNM story, my friends. I want to take this opportunity tonight to identify Mr. Firoz Khan, the National Campaign Manager for the United National Congress, a person behind the scenes, however, a person who has a ton of workload to attend to. Good night, Mr. Khan, and thank you very much. My brothers and sisters, our political leader, one of our mantras is to engage youth in the politics, in the landscape of the United National Congress landscape politics today. So our another speaker is a young gentleman from Valencia. He is also a community activist. Please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Stefan Caldwell.
Good night to the people of Toco Sangre Grande. Good night to the Honorable Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the political leader of the United National Congress. Good night to this platform, TNT Speak. Good night to the people of Valencia, and good night again to the people of Toco Sangre Grande. I am Stefan Caldwell from Valencia, and I'm saddened because now my family is a victim of crime. My sister was murdered on May 9th in Carenage. I had a task to speak in her funeral yesterday. She was only 34 years of age. At that age, you would think that I would be preparing to speak in her wedding. It's been a week and a half now, and our family is still in mourning. Our family is still in grief. She has left 5 beautiful children, now motherless. She has left her dad, fatherless, her mom, motherless, her siblings without their big sister. In the words of my father, the first child is always the hardest. You never forget anything. That was your firstborn. That was the first experience of the first walk, the first steps, the first time getting up 11, 12 o'clock in the night because baby crying. That was your first pamper change. And now this is your first lost. Today Daddy went to put gas in his vehicle, and for some reason he ended up in the cemetery. Came back home and he didn't himself reach the gas station. Too many of us, too many of our loved ones are being lost to crime and criminal activities. What is the state doing for us? What is the authority doing for us? What is the PNM doing for us? The government has failed Stephanie Caldwell. The government has failed young Kamani. What is the government doing for our people of Valencia? What is the PNM doing for the people of Toco Sangre Grande? What has the government done for 27-year-old father of one who was murdered yesterday in Valencia, Muku Shurat? What has the government, what has the PNM done for 22-year-old Josima Singh, who was murdered last 2 weeks in Valencia? It is time for change, and change starts with us. Change starts with you, and change starts with me. Change starts with all of us within this room. So come, join me. Join me, the people of KP Lands. Join me, the people of La Plata. Join me, the people of Benny Road, the people of Swan Quarry, the people of Kangali Street. Join me, the people of Toco Sangre Grande, as we make that change. Come join me so that we can reduce crime in Valencia, in Toco Sangre Grande, and within our community. Come and join me so that we can make Toco Sangre Grande a safer place. Come join me so that we can make Toco Sangre Grande a safer place, not only for us, but for our children. Come join me to make a difference so that no other family would suffer the way my family did.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stefan. The next speaker is a young man in the electoral district of Kumoto Tamana. A man that served the people of Kumoto Tamana. A man that represents the people of Kumoto Tamana in the corporation, in the Sangre Grande Corporation. A man that represents the people of Kumoto Tamana. Let's welcome the Councillor for Kumoto Tamana, Mr. Anil Maharaj.
Give praise, children. Give praise. Give praise, children. Yeah. Give praise. Give praise, children. Yeah. Give praise. Give praise.
A pleasant good evening to one and all. Before I proceed, I just want to say condolences to my brother for the loss of your sister. It really did touch me, my brother. I really feel saddened for you, and my prayers be with you. Be strong. All right. Pleasant good evening to one and all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for that wonderful introduction. A pleasant good evening to our political leader, Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bisesa, MPs, Chairman, Councillors, Alderman, everyone tuned in, and last but certainly not least, our UNC family. Good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome to True Talk Thursday platform. And when I say true talk, it's true talks and facts we are going to talk here tonight. And I want to bring some greetings to each and every one of you all here tonight. A special good night to you all for making that extra effort in coming out here and lending your support and showing it doesn't matter what this government do to us, we are going to retain our country. Thank you. Right? So, good night. As a councillor for electoral district of Kumoto Tamana, it is my duty to report to you, my people, on some of the issues faced within council that affects you on a daily basis. Firstly, let me tell you that we are not getting any release of funds to the corporation. We continue to depend on central government for funding for the corporation, and this is a challenge for us. As we wait weeks and months, let me repeat that again, as we await weeks and months, and we receive little or sometimes nothing. So how are we to help you? Yet we experience cut in local government, building programs, cut under drainage and irrigation, cut under local roads and bridges program, just cut in general funding. It's only cut, cut, cut. I know my brother, Councillor Phillip, have a little more to talk on this, and this is so true. When it comes to releases to the corporation, we actually receive next to nothing to the corporation. Secondly, I want to tell you about deplorable roads. And I know most of you all here can attest to this. We in the area of Kumoto Tamana, we can get award for the worst road ever under this PNM-run government. Am I lying? Am I lying? You say to repeat it again. we in the area of Komoto Tamara can get an award for the worst road ever under this PNM government. I must let you know that the holes are so large in some of the roads that it can be used as ponds for rearing of fish. And since this is True Talk Thursday, let's take a drive into some of the areas like Waiko Tamana. Tell me if I'm wrong, or no? Tell me if I am wrong, people of Waiko Tamana. Komoto Main Road. Bonner Road. Forward Tamana. Kamaika Road. And so much more. Just to name a few. If I can call all the bad roads in the area, guess what? We might spend the entire night here tonight. Guess what, my brothers and sisters? The Minister of Works and Transport live in this area. What a shame. What a shame. The Minister of Works lives in Waiko Tamana. Listen. Yes. My final point tonight is on employment. It hurt my heart to see that. You understand? I know half of the youths inside here tonight does not have a job. Does not have a job. This is an overbearing. We have so many families who are suffering and in need of a job. Instead, we have a government who is firing instead of hiring. So I guess that's a tune we got to sing about our government. Firing instead of hiring. What a shame again. What a shame. I want to remind you that under the UNC government, we were able to create 55,000 jobs. I want to repeat that. I would love to repeat that. I want to remind you that under the UNC government, we were able to create 55,000 jobs for the people in this country. Now I have resumes stacked high in my office with absolutely no jobs. No opportunities for young unemployed persons. Where are the jobs? What has this country become? What has this country become? My brothers and sisters, under the UNC government, led by our esteemed political leader, we never experienced these shortcomings. Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar understood the importance of local government and what I meant to the people of this country. She governed with love and dignity. I must say that again. This is a woman who cares about each and every one of us. She governed with love and dignity, and so we must not give up. Continue the fight, and when the election bell rings, make the right choice, and the sun will rise again. My brothers and sisters, long live the UNC, long live our political leader. UNC, I'm proud. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Anil Maharaj Sangre Grande. Toco Sangre Grande, good evening. Toco Sangre Grande, good evening again. My brothers and sisters, as a councillor myself, I can relate to some of the things that Councillor Maharaj have spoken about. As a councillor nowadays, especially as a UNC councillor, nowadays we are just beggars. Because right now, as it is, in the corporation, we're not receiving no funding, no releases. You know, when they do the budget, they have allocation of this under the specific votes and so on. It's so nice, expensive, on television, on social media, $1 million this and 100,000, how much thousand so. But it's one thing with allocation and it's another thing with releases. Yes, they will allocate certain amount of money for certain things, but then it comes to releases, and there where the corporation depend on the central government, the Ministry of Finance, to give us releases at the corporations. And this is what the PNM government has not been doing in Sangre Grande, and I can also state for most, if not all, of the UNC controlled corporations. This is how it is, my brothers and sisters. We understand. We understand about the road conditions. We understand about employment. We understand every single thing. My brothers and sisters, the next speaker will also touch more on issues affecting the corporation. She is a fiery, young and energetic alderman at the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, and I tell you, don't get her vexed. Do not get Miss Susan Holla vexed. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, please welcome Alderman Susan Holla.
If you cut me, you go see blood. And if you squeeze me, you go feel the love. We are one people under the sun, one nation under the law. So who feel the black? Who feel the white?
A pleasant good night to my political leader, members of NATEX, listening audience, those sitting in the comfort of their homes, and by extension, Trinidad and Tobago. It's my pleasure to address you all tonight on issues affecting us in this region. This region is mainly known for agriculture and fishing. And yet, we have the most deplorable access road. Now, Toco Valencia, Komoto Manzanella, Komoto Tamana, Manzanella Fishing Pond. I know it have somebody from every one of these electoral districts sitting in this audience tonight. And you could identify for yourself what I am saying to you tonight. 40, 50 years ago, we used to use donkey. My grandparents and my parents used to use donkey to go to access the produce. Today, the young men in this region going brave and bold to ADB Bank, borrowing money to buy vehicle, and still yet they cannot access their produce because they have to walk miles to go to get their produce. And we have a Minister of Agriculture. This area is known for agriculture and fishing. And today the fishermen is crying out, the farmers is crying out, and nobody is paying attention to them. I am calling tonight on the Minister of Agriculture, Lands and Fishery to do something for the farmers in this region. They have nothing to offer. In this region, we don't have no industries. We barely have state-owned properties. I could remember doing history in school in 1889, I think. No, 18. A post office was built in Sangre Grande. A post office was built, that is in colonial days. Today, 2022, we have to line up between furniture in a furniture store to pay our bills and to access our mails, when we have a post office standing in Sangre Grande, fenced with galvanized. And you, my people, accept this. My people, I'm asking you tonight to not accept mediocrity. We are not foolish people. They believe we born in this part of the vineyard and we have to accept anything. I'm telling you tonight to stand up and let this government know we not accept it. During the Easter holiday, I went to Matlot. And I was very much surprised to see the police officers in Matlot in a 10 by 20 container. They sit below a mango tree on an old chair and an old table to take reports. This is what people in this region vote for. These police officers leaving their comfortable home, the family, to go in a 20 by 10 container to spend days and nights. This is what the Minister of National Security have to offer to our police officer. Oh God, treat them with a little dignity and pride. Treat them better than that. Come down from your throne and meet and greet with the people. Way back, we had a revenue office in Grande. Today, we have to pay rent. The government after they paying rent for a revenue office to occupy a space for a revenue office. Everyone at the state owned. The only thing we have to show that is state owned in Grande is the police station, the fire station, and the hospital. Everything, instead of you seeing development, it gone to the yet it is rent. Everything rent out. My people, we cannot continue with that. I have no problem with the people renting their business, you know. I have no problem. They build a place for business. But what is the government of today doing? They are doing nothing for us, my people. Carry the message. Tell your neighbor. Tell your friend. Tell all them PNM to stop wasting time. They have their children to give account to. They have their grandchildren to give account to. The last time I see development in Toco Sangre Grande was under Kamala Prasad Bisesa. Road paving was done. Drains that was never done in this region was done. We got the roundabout. I see they come and they build something in Valencia Junction. I don't know if that is in the middle of the sea. But I'm telling you tonight, my people, carry the message. Let these people know that we are not accepting the nonsense they're going on within our region.
Get mad now.
All who I close, open it. All you open, all you I get up. UNC people have a habit to sit down in the house and say, we go win. We go win. We cannot win an election if all you sit down in all your house. Come out all you, in all your house when it's election day and vote for a party that will represent all you, a party that care about all you. The PNM cares nothing about all you. Another thing I want to touch on tonight is the social development issues that people in this region suffer. And let me tell all you something tonight. Most of all you who's suffering under social service, don't feel all you suffering just so. All you suffering, you know why? All you support the UNC. We have nothing like democracy no more in Trinidad and Tobago. We have no rights. So long as you support a political party that is not PNM, you have no rights here. Let me tell all you something. We have local board. Some of you don't know that. We have local board in our region. And let me tell you something. Some of these people sitting on the local board is only there to victimize you. If they see the name right up as big as the Sangre Grande police station, they don't know it's their name. But when you walk in there, it has those there to identify. She support the UNC. He support the UNC. So because you support the UNC, you have nothing to get there. But my people, I am here to tell you tonight, the sun will rise again. Yes. The sun will rise again. The party that cares for one and all. Whenever the election bell ring, they come around with their nonsense. They have a song that they sing, we love you so, we taking care of you. Only the PNM have a plan. You know what is the plan? To mess with your head. I am telling all you that tonight. They will mess with all your head. So don't fall for no, they love all you, no, them hate all you. They hate all you. PNM people not nice. You hear what I'm telling all you? Get up and stand up for what is right. And the only party that will bring quality and true governance to all you is the United National Congress. Today, today I was reading for some of my council members. I was reading this morning. Many nights I go to bed and can't sleep. You know, I lie on my bed and I can't sleep because of calls that was made during the day to me. Yesterday morning, a woman was by me. She had soap to bed. This morning, one senator asked me for liquid soap to wash. Only thing them people want to do that? They want to do this. But because of the level of poverty, I see mothers with 3 and 4 children, their food card was taken away from them simply because they support the UNC. Simply because we cannot condone that. What good for one, good for all. And I urge you all, when you go to the social service office and you see they turn all you down, don't make no noise. Ask them nicely what is their name. Let us publish the name of these people who are depriving you of the rights of this land. What good for one, good for all. Tonight, I must tell you all that I encourage you all tonight to stand firm. Stand firm. Don't be deterred when they didn't give all your food card. You know, you will say, it's better I support the PNM, you know, because I won't get a food card. Hold on. Better days are coming. Better days are coming. Hold on. Don't give up. Don't give up. Yesterday I was in Maharaj grocery and I saw police coming in like, well, a murder take place. You know, when I look, is a woman arrested for stealing? You think that woman wants to steal? No, I'm not speaking. That is one I'm talking about yesterday, day before yesterday. Another one. So, all you could understand the pressure we under in this region. 99% of the people who was working with URP and CPEP, because they're not affiliated to the PNM, they don't have a job. They don't have a job. And that is the only means of income. URP, CPEP, or you go fishing, or you do agriculture. We don't have no industry here. You understand? So my people, open all your eyes. Come out. Get up. Talk to all your neighbor. Talk to all your enemy and all. Tell them about the goodness of Kamala Prasad Bisesa. That is the only leader that will take us to victory. The only leader that treat one and all equal. It have no difference. Equality. The only leader, Ms. Kamala Prasad Bisesa. With this, I want to say, blessed night to you all. Reach home safe.
Thank you, Alderman. Thank you, Alderman Susan Holla. Toco Sangre Grande, enough is enough. If tonight Toco Sangre Grande make up their mind, what more? Tonight, my people of Toco Sangre Grande, enough is enough. Yes. Let us show the PNM in this constituency that this is not a stronghold PNM seat. This is not a stronghold, because even though that's a stronghold, they treat the people different. Yes. My people of Toco Sangre Grande, crying out tonight, enough is enough. Yes. The next speaker is a young, brilliant representative of the people. She represents the UNC in the 2020 general election. She remained committed to serve the people. Please welcome Ms. Nabila Greene.
Patrice again, yeah. And again and again. I want you to do it with your time. I hope you're not wasting time. Oh, what you do it with your time, man. I'm not taking time right now, but better days are coming, coming. Change your ways. Don't let this moment pass you by and remain the same. Better days are coming, coming. Change your ways. Don't let this moment pass you by and remain the same. Hey, what we gonna do now? There's no
A good evening to our revered leader, Mistress Kamala Prasad Bisessa, members of Parliament present and listening, sitting councillors, all our listeners, and a very special good evening to a dynamic crew, a people who demanded difference, a people who saw a vision, persons who were willing to go beyond the call to save our people. Our constituency from this malicious, no plan, constantly failing, lack of vision, sunken in greed government. Toco Sangre Grande, my people, persons who would have toiled the ground with me and even before me, and those of you who are willing to stand through this evil morals of this Balaze government in the future to come, you hold a very special place in my heart. My friends, my appeal this evening is to shift away from the foolish divide and rule concept. That's one that propagates racial tension. The truth is, my friends, the lower class and the middle class have no benefits from this. You see, this PNM-led government, in order for them to stay in government, they appeal to the African populace by the beating of drums and the coquille broom and the beautiful Baptist hymns. You know, the land grabber who just come out and catch power. My friends, that have nothing to do with us. There's no concern for our people. And then they incorporate the dancehall styles, the left foot, right foot. How much of those people today, the ones who are dancing in the street, could take their left foot and right foot and walk comfortably into a grocery or walk comfortably into a sustainable employment? And I, my friends, being very African conscious, could understand the magnet that draws you to this. We all feel for some sense of belonging, but I need you to see and see deeply beyond this trick. The time has come, my people, when you should go beyond these rhythms. This stupid concept of an African government and an Indian government must be removed. This is our beautiful island, blessed with diversities and beautiful cultures. There's no superior and none inferior. I call on you to see beyond this colonial position, my friends, and understand that we need to stand together before it's too late. I'm being very much honest in saying that if you read the manifestos presented by the UNC government for 2020 and beyond, especially for Toco Sangre Grande, you will see the immaculate postulations to take Sangre Grande forward, my friends. Within the last 2 years, I have seen the diminishing of our scenic, picturesque constituencies. We have the resources necessary to ensure that there is sustainable employment. The most I have seen this current MP doing is posing by asphalt. As young men, the same young African men that would have come out on left foot and right foot, they suffer in silence. They now stand idly on blocks with painful eyes of anome and empty pockets, holding a $2 soft drink in their hands. This is why I, who grew in a very reserved home, a very reserved Christian home, got involved in politics. I could not stand to see passing on these streets, these young men standing idly with no hope for tomorrow. And beside all the ills and odds, I am still willing to stand with my people because I know the pains and I know what you are capable of. Our political leader and I shared common vision for Toco Sangre Grande, understanding that this could have been one of the most amazing hubs in the region, a place that could have positively impacted our economy. I remember when one of my MSc colleagues from the UE called me during the election period and he said, I once boasted of your brilliance, Nabila. I spoke highly of your concepts and conjectures and the way you see things, your worldviews, etc. How someone so wise as you, so African conscious, could represent an Indian party? And I, my friends, I could not be angry because I remember too, at one time, growing up in a very predominantly Afro-Trini village, growing up in a place where history was significant, was of significant value, and understanding the slave trade and so much more, I too could not make sense of it at one time to see African people trailing behind a UNC contingency. So I had to explain to my lost friend, if you consider me a rational thinker, then you should know it's a wise choice I'm making to follow the government led by Kamala Persad-Bissessa. I have done my evaluation. Under the 50+ years of governance by this PNM party, what development have you seen taking place in the same left foot, right foot communities? Which of these communities do you see having the highest crime rates, worse infrastructures, poorly developed schools and educated releases, poverty-stricken, and so much more? And Kamala Persad-Bissessa, what a great leader, my friends, was about inclusion. Every community, every age group, every creed, and every race was catered for. And it seems that one of the reasons why she's been nailed to the cross is for her willingness to incorporate the young and the old, the Indo and the Afro, seeing country first and trying to remove the foolish dogmas assigned. Stop letting these people trick you into these foolish thoughts of being divided. We are a beautiful country, a beautiful nation, and if we stand together, we could take Trinidad and Tobago forward. When it's not, look at the schools projected on the social media that displays the most delinquent behavior. What is being done to eradicate such? I would have showed way before my political stint that teachers within the region of Toco to Matura would have been certified in restorative justice 1 and 2 by the dynamic leader, Dr. Darren Williams. We have persons in Trinidad and Tobago certified to handle the problems that our country is facing. Several persons graduated from the universities every year in Trinidad and Tobago, holding certificates in restorative practices, behavioral sciences, psychology, sociology, criminology, and so much more. These persons should be incorporated in police stations, schools, community projects, but no, this will have no money to feed their financiers and ministers who have to recuse themselves, and they know nothing about putting country first. These activities, my friends, to save our nation will not involve the pocketing of monies for them, their wives, and their financiers. Crime has spiraled in Sangre Grande, and this, my friends, is a sign of people who are frustrated, broken and frustrated, that is. It seems that the Minister of National Security, after they splashed water on him, he took the water and minded his business with his eyes shut and sleeping. The country feels lost and in a sense of dismay. My friends, elections have consequences. It's time we get rid of this lipid, careless, leaderless, autocratic government. When we could see how this government treated CPEP workers and have them weighing on the strings of the balances, the same mothers who would have left their babies' homes to campaign on maxi rides, the same people who would have given up their morality to be social media bullies, those that work assiduously to ensure that our roadways are beautiful, they were treated as the scum of the earth, less than, and this is totally unacceptable. CPEP workers, come next election, I call on you to never forget how you were treated. You people work hard and you deserve so much more. It hurts my heart to see how heartless and insensitive this government is to our people, how indifferent they are to our cries of our nation. Look at the reaction when those divers got stuck in the pipe. Yusuf Henry, one of our very own, the unempathetic display, the callous response to loss of life. Did you see the UNC MPs out there checking families, Kamala Persad-Bissessa, and everything else, ensuring that persons can be comforted? I don't know if Trinidad and Tobago understand the lost by not electing Kamala Persad-Bissessa into government in the 2020 election. Are we still sure that we are willing to stand with these people because of race alone? Friends of mine, when you go to the gas station or the food courts, your race card will be denied. Have you considered the lives of your children and your children's children? Now that gate has been removed from MSc students, gas prices have raised, grocery prices have tripled. We have people with decent jobs accused of shoplifting right here in Sangre Grande. I myself, who is permanently employed, find myself on the grocery corridors, calculating prices, looking at cents. This one is $12.47, this one is $12. I had to go with $12, and I don't have husband and children. This triggers the pain in me when I study what it is like for a mother with children or parents who work on a 2013 salary, work in Europe or CPEP. How are they surviving? And this was one of the major concerns of the Kamala-led government, my friends. Kamala ensured that mothers, children were catered for. What else do we need to wake up and see the light, my friends? As a trade unionist, I could tell you it's the worst I have ever seen workers suffer. You have heard the councillors come up and say, and management always indicates, we have not been giving funding. Government has not released any monies, not for PPE, not for tools, not for allowances. And then there's a constant reminder, we could give them, but we'll have to send some home. Never have I witnessed such a painstaking, heartless government. One who is willing to make the rich get richer, whilst the poor sink into abject poverty. Do not be fooled by this country has no money. Billions in dollars are being spent, just not on anything that you and I could benefit from. What is taking us as a nation to wake up, my friends? To demand more, because we deserve more and there is more. After you have voted for PNM election after election, and now you have to pass and watch your son watching the sunset and the sunrise, dwindling on the strings of giving up, fighting for a slice and a sense of survival. Can you consciously go back, come next election, and support this utter nonsense? Toco Sangre Grande, next election. Don't let this good-for-nothing government come and trick you with temporary goods and good music. Follow a party with vision. Follow a party that caters for our very needs. Ensure that this upcoming election, the sunrise is conspicuous. We will stand in solidarity. We will stand and let our voices be heard. We will stand for democracy. Long live the United National Congress. Long live our political leader. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Ms. Nabila Greene. The next speaker is a man who has been flying the flag of the UNC proudly in Sangre Grande, Northwest. The lone UNC councillor in Toco Sangre Grande, the very hard-working councillor. Please welcome the councillor for Sangre Grande Northwest, Mr. Nasser Hussain.
DJ, no introduction of music, man. You know I like to dance. Pleasant good night to everyone. Assalamu alaikum, sitaram, namaste. Good night to everyone. Honorable political leader, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, who I'm sure is locked on at this time, Member of Parliament Khadijah Ameen, former Senator Taharqa Obika, National Executive members, local government colleagues, members of Toco Sangre Grande Executive, viewing public on social media. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Trinidad and Tobago Speaks meeting. Before I go on, I have to inform you that today I was at the Mount Hope Hospital Pediatric Ward. And would you believe there are no AC? There may be some, but that particular room, or cubicle, what you may call it, there is no AC units there. And imagine a child has to take that midday sun, okay, in that room. A sick child. And they're saying, this is a caring government. Oh my gosh. Tears came down my eyes. I'm telling you all, because the person was very close to me. Close. A 3-year-old. All right? But I want to ask you a question. Tell me, who cared about the children of TNT the most? Who? All right. The most caring prime minister that we ever had in this country. You see, when you look at the Children's Authority and the functioning of it now, something is terribly wrong, but I won't go there. But as a result of all these things that are happening, right? Tonight, you see tonight, I am not going to speak about the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago, the low employment issues, deplorable road conditions of our roads, corruption to the core, or high fuel or food prices. All right? But I'll ask you one question. But I'll let the Member of Parliament handle that. With due respect to you, ma'am, Madam MP, you handle that. But I'll ask you a question again. Are you fed up of this PNM government?
Yes.
Are you, I'm not telling you, are you fed up of this corrupted PNM government?
Yes.
Listen, enough is enough. We cannot go on this way. You see, tonight, I speak to you as the Councillor for Sangre Grande Northwest to bring a report of all the achievements and constraints from 2020 to this present time within the electoral district of Sangre Grande Northwest, which may extend to the entire Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. So, to start off, I want you to know that roads paved were Sokrava Village number 3 from 2020, Roy Mutu Avenue, Bougainvillea Drive in the Coca, Riley Avenue off Picton Road, part of Rupsing Street Extension. Road improvement works were done on Pineapple Drive, Cokery Drive, Cypress Drive, Guayco Village Street number 3, Ramlogan Gardens, Swan Quarry Extension, a dirt road left of the railway road number 1, Sugars Lane off Blake Avenue Extension, and the road behind the Sangre Grande Hindu School. Now, I didn't want to elaborate, but just light grading was done, and in some cases, a little patching and a little oil sand. Now, completed box drain from 2020 to present time, Goodhope Street to Rupsing Street Extension. There were 3 phases. Neil Street Extension, Picton Road, Blake Avenue Extension, Celia Circular, and Nexter Avenue. Now, I installed communal tanks also to bring relief to persons who are without pipe-borne water in Cokery Drive, 1, Upper Barbande 1, Robinson Lane number 1, Cherry Lane of Swan Quarry Extension, Pineapple Drive in the Coca, Cashew Drive in Barbande. But, you know, the complaints is that how often these communal bins are filled. My secretary is here, and she'll tell you requests upon requests are made, complaints upon complaints are made. Right? I'm not here to attack anyone, but we can do better than that. Don't you think so? Yes. Toco Sangre Grande, don't you think so? Yes, I am sure most of you have some of the water problems out there. All right? The drains were cleaned by regular and environmental workers. I installed some convex mirrors behind the Sangre Grande in the school that was installed. Picton Road extension next to Ryan's Garage, that is sharp end, if you usually traverse that road. To pending, right? We're going to put one at corner of Adventist Street and Ramda Street, regular accidents there. At the corner of Cross Street and Picton Road, which is not too far from my residence there, so it's not mine, it's because there were accidents there. There's also the corner of Goodhope Street and Picton Road, another there. So, I mean, for that short time and the constraints that I have, I had to really do things in a way. I'm sure all the other councillors would tell you that. A play park was established at Railway Road number 2, that way up to the hill. Devices, here, assisted 5 children's devices which were donated by businessman of Focus Tech, Mr. Darren Ramkilawan. Give him a round of applause for that. Donation of desktops. We assisted 5 children with desktops which were donated by Councillor Ryan Rampasad, another hard-working councillor. Give him a round of applause for that. There were various meal distributions during COVID-19. Grocery hampers over 1,000 were distributed to needy persons. There were water leaks, about 50 were reported. Now flood assistance, we went out there also in 2021. 2 Christmas toy and tree drive, where over 2,000 children were reached within the electoral district. If I didn't reach in certain areas, it means that the toys are, you know, an expired, finished, you know. But I promise you, we can do it again, right? This year coming, I will surely reach out to you all. There were lots of other requests and recommendations and so on, like letters, street lights, electricity, speed hump, requests for road patching, right? Under what we call unspent balances, which is money that came from last year's budget, I requested that, you know, Railway number 3, Ramdas and Roy Mutu, Niranjan Street, Riley Avenue, Dolan Street, Toco Street. These are outstanding, what you'll call requests for years upon years by this PNM government, you know. So that has to change. Good. I intend to, like Farm Road, you know, to at least bring some relief. It's in a terrible state. Milk Road, worse. Hibiscus Drive, Ojo Road, oil sand. Want to supply some oil sand. Cypress Extension, that's the Musk Road up in the Coca. Sugars Lane, Blake Avenue. Pitran suggested also. But you know, the cry is no materials and so on. If we only get those releases, right, as outlined by Councillor C, we would have a better place to live in, you know. For example, Blake Avenue Extension, Kukuri Drive, Cashew Drive, Benedict Drive, Pineapple Drive. These roads are in a state, muddy roads. All right? But I have to tell you now that Picton Road Extension, opposite the church, contracts were awarded. They're waiting on the contractor to start. All right? But I can tell you something. Only this week, a contract was awarded for Damry Hill Recreation Ground, right, in 2020, and only this week the contractor paid the bond, so the work will progress ASAP. But tell me something, do you think that is right? 2020, 21, 22, you see? And that is actually to pave the basketball court and also the netball, backbone, and so on, right? Another project coming up, the Picton Extension Road. You know that road is always flood prone. From those of you from the Coca, right? Always little rainfall. So I put up that in order I brought the engineer and said, well, okay, let's try to relieve these people. So it will they're gonna raise the level of that road, elevate the level in order to try to avoid flooding. It's on. It was awarded. Let me hear something from you people in the Coca. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's long. People were suffering for years of neglect by this wicked PNM government. Now is the time. From now on, think people, think carefully. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by little handouts. They're going to come with full force. They are going to attack with full force. We know that. The election time is coming. Local government is coming. You will be offered a lot of goodies, right? But if they give you $500 or $300, take it. But some of them, I would say, that you'll spend, for the 3 years, spend $100 per year. Right? Take it, yes, thank you, take it. But remember the rising sun. Take it and vote the UNC, you understand? How long are we going to take these people? So I want to also let you know, just that dangerous corner at Ryan's Garage in the Coca, a contract was awarded for that. Remember, there's a house way down that slip, always a threat. A car went down there already. Good? That barrier will be installed and widened. That road will be widened. You see? I care about you all, you know. I wish I could have done better. Right? But the suppression of funds by this wicked PNM government, yeah, as my comrade talked about allocation releases, the big term allocation, without releases you cannot do anything. So there's a term that is used, suppression of funds, which is going on right now. Also, I want to tell you that contracts to be awarded, for sure, put up, Ramlogan Gardens, up at Damriel side, Sherian Avenue. There are tentative in-house projects that I proposed, Adventist Street, Robinson 1, Dolan Street, Ramuta Extension, Cross Streets. But hear what? No materials are available. You see? Even to put up the convex lens, our councillors are buying cement and sand in order to do so. Right? I think I might have to jump and follow suit. Am I not correct, councillors? Yeah. Right. So I'm correct. Vice Chairman, you are here. Good. A little bit under the weather though. Yeah. All right. Now, the constraints, I'll deal with this now. And I'm going to finish in a little while. How much time do I have, Mr. Chair? Oh, gosh. All right. Have a heart. All right. There were water problems in Wabande, Madhu Singh, Hibiscus Drive, Unity Street, Farm Road, Rose Avenue, Pine Avenue, Blake Avenue Extension. Now, as soon as those roads were paved, people suddenly getting problems just immediately after it was paved, right? We called WASA many times to highlight the issue. But it seems as though to get things done in this country, you go to the media, I'm going to do that. All right? And they are complaining quietly, loudly. And it seems as though that there's a valve problem. A valve problem there. So this is something that I'm going to deal with ASAP. Now, you know, I requested patching in Ojo Road, Briley Street, Ramdas Street, Sycamore Drive, corner of Railway and Picton Road, Kitwaro Extension, Guayco Village Street number 4, Railway Road number 2, Guayco Village Street number 3, Orchid Drive, Hibiscus East, Hibiscus West in the Coca. But you know something? You know what is the cry? No materials. And you know what hurt me the most, people? You know what hurt me the most? The usually cry is no bitumen. No, bitumen is what you call tar. Am I not correct? Tar. Bitumen or tar. Imagine there is no bitumen. The little work that was done patching, it could not have stayed in 3 weeks, 2 months time. That's it again. Same problem. You see? But you know, it hurts me again, and I'm sure it's hurting you. Why? They closed down Petrotrin, which was producing bitumen. Yeah? That is government for your money. That is government for your money. Enough is enough. What do you say? Yes. And? Yes. Right. So, I sent letters to WASA. I'm sorry I didn't bring it here. But I will walk to each of my constituents in Ramdas Street, Picton Road, and environs, and show them the reply from a letter where I requested, right, that those rivers, which has narrowed into a stream, needs cleaning because of siltation and narrowing, right? Now, this is as a result of siltation from the quarries in Ture. Good? So, So here what that reply was. My secretary can attest this back. They're saying that as access, right, access to certain parts of the river is difficult because of the houses near to the riverbed. Those people in Ramdas Street and Picton Road and so on, I hope you all are hearing me, and I'll bring that letter to you all as ASAP, a copy for each of you. Right. Just give me 1 minute again, please. I'm nearly completed, right? All right. Now, there is something with respect to the short-term employment. Another thing since February, no releases. So I ask you people to bear with me. You see? And if at any time you see the post advertised on Facebook for environmental workers, you then apply by writing, drop it into the box, and this is the only way you may qualify for employment. You see? This is the only way. I am telling people this and understand that I've been told it will be advertised for 5 days, unlike what was done the last time, 3 days. Okay? Well, I don't want to go into food cards, but I have to let my burgesses know that a councillor does not have access to food cards to distribute. The MPs do. If the PNM councillors and right, if the PNM MP, I mean, he has, you know, regular access to, you all can approach him. But if the PNM councillors and aldermen have access to food cards, I do not know. The last time I made a statement like that was libel. All right? So I'm not going to go there. All right? As I end, I have to remind you of the most successful prime minister we ever had in this country. Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Her track record speaks for itself. It will take a few hours to list all those achievements. As I end, so the only leader to get us out of this mess is the one and only Kamla Persad-Bissessar. May God bless her. Long live our political leader. Long live our great party, the UNC. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much, Councillor Nasa, Sangre Grande. Good night again. You know, as a councillor myself, I listened to Councillor Nasa speaking about his achievement. So as a councillor, I will just list just a few of my achievements as councillor for the electoral district of Sangre Grande South. Number 1, retaining wall at Baka Trace, Coal Mine, Sangre Grande. Jogging track, Jar Singh, Coal Mine, Sangre Grande. Box Drain, Palmer's Drive, Cooperative Street. Palm Street, Box Drive. Box Drain, my apologies. Lindsay Street, Box Drain. My friends, I can go on, but I know time does not permit me. Before I move on to the next speaker, I just want to acknowledge a few persons in the house tonight. The PRO of the United National Congress, Mr. Kirk Mehu. Our hard-working General Secretary, Mr. Peter Kanhai, good night, sir. Member of Parliament for Couva North and the UNC party organizer, MP Ravi Ratiram, good night. All these are people behind the scene working very hard for the United National Congress. My brothers and sisters, as we move on to our next speaker, he is a person who has a passion for the people, not only for his electoral district of Manzalina Fishing Pond, but for the whole region of Sangre Grande. And when he stands in the corporation and he delivers and he attests to certain things and he deliberates on issues, you know what the administration will refer to towards him? Expect litigation letters. Some of them threaten, expect to go down in silver bracelet. These are the things that our vice chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation have to deal with other councillors at the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. However, these things do not stop us. These things do not stop the vice chairman and councillor for Manzalina Fishing Pond. He is a man who will continue to work for the people of Sangre Grande and Manzalina Fishing Pond. Please put your hands and welcome Councillor Phillip.
If you cut me, you go see blood. And if you squeeze me, you go feel the love. We are one people under the sun. One nation
UNC people, good night. Toco Sangre Grande people, good night. Welcome to our TNT Speaks program. Political leader of our great party, member of parliament, NATEX members, councillors, aldermen, UNC family, good night. Good night, my UNC family. We ready to go home? You know, when the task was put upon us to keep the TT Speaks in Toco Sangre Grande, members say we could do it. And after seeing the turnout here tonight, I must ask you, our supporters, to put your hands together for your support here tonight. I must say I am pleased for you taking your time out here tonight to grace us here with your presence. And I want to say a special good night to my daughter, who for her first time attend a political meeting. And she will be turning 18 in July, so she will be entitled to vote for the local election there. My friends, tonight I want to say that as a person, I decided to get into politics because I want to make a difference. I want to be part of a change, something good. And I didn't choose the UNC because my favorite color is yellow, or I just wanted to be in a political party. I choose the UNC because I believe in the principle that the UNC was built on. I believe in our political leader and her leadership skills. I believe in the vision that she had for our country. My friends, I too, like Darren Timothy, came from a family who is surrounded by PNM. And not because I grew up with a family who always vote PNM, I decided to vote PNM. I have a mind of my own. And I didn't study if I support UNC, what they will think of me. I study the future of myself and my generation to come. So I decided to join the UNC party because I grew up in a home with my mom alone, with 4 siblings, myself and 3 other brothers. And I didn't have it hard. I didn't have it easy. I had it hard. I eat fig and salt, drink sweet water. Didn't know where the next meal coming from. My mother had to choose to send one of my brother to school because she didn't have funding to send both of us. Sometimes I stay home a whole term because of funding. And I say that I ask God, put me in a position where I could help people who are going through the same problem as me. My friends, it have a lot of people suffering in this country, and as council members, we may witness this firsthand. Because every day someone calling, councillor, help me to get a job. Councillor, help me to get Pampers, help me to get grocery. It ain't no easy task as a councillor, We as councillors get bashed for things like hampers, food, basic things that you, the people, deserve as a citizen, that this government is supposed to provide for you. My friends, mothers today have to study which one of their child to send to school. This is the position we reach in. Have to choose between putting a meal on the table or sending a child to school. And I am saying to you, it have to stop sometime and somewhere. And we have to ask ourselves when. When? So I decided to get into government because I believe I could do more for people. So I went up as a UNC candidate and I won in 2016. My friends, and from the outside it looked bright. And when you go on the inside, it's a lot of excuse. And I will tell you something. You will see budget passing left, right, and center. In 2020, 2019 would have been local election, November 2019. December. The allocation for drainage and irrigation was 5,500,000 because the PNM believed they would have won the corporation because they would have stole the corporation in 2016 with a casting vote. So they believed the same thing would have happened. So they placed 5,500,000 for drainage and irrigation work. When the UNC would have won the corporation in 2019, the allocation was 3,500,000. It decreased by 2 million. That means less box train, less roads, less for councils delivered to you. Development of recreation facilities from an allocation of 2,536,000 in 2020, when the PNM thought they would have won the corporation, it decreased to 800,000. 800,000, my friend, from an allocation of 2,536,000. That is a decrease by $1.736 million. How can we deliver to the people when the government of the day cut in here? And this is just allocation. They are not giving us releases. They are not giving us releases. This month will be the 7th month into this fiscal year, and we have not received any funding under material and supply in the corporation. From an allocation of 1.7 million in the last fiscal year, they give us a release of 450,000. They give us the same allocation this year, $450,000 to fix roads, to fix box train, and to date, we are 7th month into this fiscal year and not 1 red cent received. How can we deliver if we are not receiving funding from central government? Central government, the corporation depend on funding from central government. And you'll see they will go and they'll read budget and they will say they allocate $70-something million for Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, my friends. Yes, this week was the midterm review. The FO, this financial officer of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation would have applied for over $3 million in the midterm review to meet shortfalls. The government of the day only gave Sangre Grande Corporation $1 million from a request of $3-point-something million. Other PNM corporation get 9 million, 7 million, 2 million, 5 million, but because Sangre Grande is run by the UNC, they give us $1 million. You know why? They want us to look bad because the corporation is run by UNC. So when we come wrong local elections, they will say, what did you all did for us? But we are here today to report to you the financial status of the corporation and the position the government would have us in. My friends, as councillors, we have to go and beg for material. And when you beg for material, they're giving you such a long talk. Ask the people in Kaiwal Road who call and ask me for materials to patch some hole because their family passed away and the deaders couldn't pass. Ask the people them inside there. Ask the people in Fishing Pond who's spending how much money to fix their vehicles. My friends, we are in a position here and we are going back in time. This PNM government taking us back in time. Just now we go reach black and white. We go start to go back to donkey cat as Holla and Holla talk because people fed up, they're packing up their vehicle, gas price going up not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times, and we are riot yet. And you know this song they're singing? We love you so we take good care of you. Only the PNM understand. Anyone out here understand what the PNM doing? Anyone, you know the PNM culture is a stifle here for the whole year. And you see the couple months coming down to election time, they feed you with it. They feed you with it. And you go and say the PNM so care about me. But that's how they want to have us. That is what they want to have them. Not we, because we here. My friends, it had to have a point in time when we as people have to say enough is enough. We have to stand up and push back. That is why the political leader would mobilize people to say the pushback. We remember we had the drive, the pushback. This is the time we have to push back. Local election is due at the end of this year. And they will come and they will ask you for the vote and they will sing the same song. We love you and we care for you. But don't forget the time when they cut your food card. Ask Miss Rachel Joseph in South Manzalina who call and say she food card break. She food card break, and when she go to social services, 2 years now, she waiting for a food card. Ask these families who call in here every day. For Councillor, help me with that hamper things hard. Right now we owing groceries because people call and we are asking for hampers and we tell them go and take it by the grocery, and when we get we let a stipend from Councillor, we go in and pay for it. That is what councillors here does do. That is what we just go through, and a stipend for a councillor is 40-something hundred. So check it. Check it. Over $2,000 you're owing by the grocery because you're trying to help people because this government take care. We have to raise barbecue to help people build house. We have to put up to buy material, to buy bitumen to fix road. Because we ain't getting no releases in the corporation. And you know what they're dependent on? They're telling you, unspent balances, unspent balances. My friends, we would have approved $9 million, $1 million per each electoral district from unspent balances. And this is funding that they're sending 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the fiscal year. And they expect it to spend it out. But this council would have allocate the money, $1 million per electoral district to do development projects because we have not been receiving funding under recurrent. My friends, I could tell the people in Gaynda Road that I would have placed funding on the Gaynda Road boardwalk. I would have placed funding to pave the second road in Gaynda Road that will be awarded in this month. My friends, I could tell the people in Loversville that Loversville is tendering out right now and contract will be awarded before the end of this month. My friends, as councillors, we may face challenges, but we work hard. We work hard to ensure that we meet some of the needs of you all. And I am not here to tell you, vote for us in election. But I am asking you to weigh your options. Some of us, come on, we have two minds. We vex business one, we vex with that one. But my friends, under the UNC, under the stewardship of Ms. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, councillors have to work hard. We have to answer. We have to answer to the campaign manager. We have to answer to the political leader and all MPs here. My friends, before I close, I want to say, as councillor for the electoral district of Manzalina Fishing Pond, I support my political leader as leader of the UNC, and I'm calling on everyone to let us rally around our political leader and our great party. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Phillip, Vice Chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. My friends, you heard it. You heard from Councillor Phillip the experiences we experience at the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. And you know the sad thing? The PNM members of council at the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, they know what's going on. They know what's going on. But they prefer to choose party over the people. These same people who did us go to and ask to vote for them, right now, they prefer these people suffer than to stand for the right thing at the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. I tell you, my friends, Toco Sangre Grande, they will be coming to you again. In the near future, just a few months away, these same people, the PNM, will be coming to you again. And when they come to you, ask them what happened to the last 3 years. Run them, I tell you, because they do not care for you, the people of Sangre Grande. My friends, as we move on, as I introduce the next speaker in tonight's proceedings, my friends, she started as a street captain who couldn't even vote. She moved on to become a councillor, to become a chairman of a corporation. She became a senator. She is a member of NATEX. My friends, presently she is a member for Parliament for St. Augustine, the vice chairman of the United National Congress. My friends, my dear friend, Miss Khadijah Ameen, and I tell you, if you cut Khadijah, I might see UNC running out inside our blood. My friends, let us all stand. Let us all stand here tonight. Let us all stand and welcome MP for St. Augustine, the Vice Chairman of the United National Congress, MP Khadijah Ameen.
Sound it, sound it. If you cut me, you go see blood. And if you squeeze me, you go feel the love. We are one people under the sun. One nation under the law. So who feel the black? Who feel the white?
Thank you very much, my Sangre Grande UNC family. Give them a round of applause. To our live audience and those who are joining us online, all our distinguished citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who are listening to this meeting, TNT Speaks, a special good evening. As I was walking to the podium, my high heels told me that termites eating out the stage. And to get furniture and anything in a school now from this government is real headache. So I'm saying it publicly that Sangre Grande Hindu School needs the assistance of the Ministry of Education to fix this stage and to fix other things in the school. I don't know if Holla have an MP here in Sangre Grande, but I didn't come to talk about that tonight. My friends, as Calvin said when he introduced me, yes, I came from local government. And I listened to our councillors lamenting the issues in their electoral district, and I feel your pain. I feel your pain when you talk about roads and drains and recreation grounds. But I want to tell you as well that workers in regional corporation, daily paid workers, contract workers, are in danger of losing their jobs because the government is not giving enough money to regional corporations to pay their wages. In fact, the latest offer from the CPO concerning workers' salary, daily paid workers in regional corporation. Remember, since the last wage negotiation under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, all prices going up, food going up, but salaries not going up. So here is what the government is offering. 2014, 0%. 2015, 0%. 2016, 0%. 2017, 0%. 2018, 1%. 2019, 0%. 2020, 0%. 2021, 1%. That is wickedness. Daily paid workers in this country must say enough is enough. Rowley must go. The PNM must go. The price of food went up by more than 1%. The price of gas went up by more than 1%. School children, books, uniforms. But they offer workers 0%. But tonight, my friends, in addition to supporting my colleagues in local government, our councillors, I come tonight to speak to you as a mother, as a citizen, and as a patriot of Trinidad and Tobago. On Monday, I went to Parliament to deal with the people's business on behalf of St. Augustine constituency as their MP. I wanted to have a say because on the Friday before, the PNM came to Parliament to ask
for $3.8 billion more. I don't vex already because they have not created a single job. They have not built a single school or police station or hospital or health center. They have cut people off from getting social welfare and food cards. But they come to ask for more money. One of the issues that the opposition raised in Parliament was the shocking revelations of the Judith Jones report, the Justice Judith Jones report, on the state of children's homes in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, within this report, it stated that there were serious issues with sexual and physical abuse of children taking place at present under the Children's Authority. So we asked, is the money that you are asking for going to ensure that you fix the issues? All those homes that are not approved and receiving money, are you going to ensure that they meet the standards and that our children are protected? And you know, the shameless government said no. So they're asking for more money, but not to correct the situation. And then up comes Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley. And you know what that man came there to do? In order to defend his government's incompetence, lack of delivery, failure to protect our children, failure to protect our women and girls from being murdered and raped in this country, this man take blame Kamla to new heights. I was in shock. Apart from talking like he needed to take some kind of medication, he was off his rockers. This man went back 25 years. Some are didn't born yet. Any responsible prime minister, any responsible government getting a report that at present there are the issues of sexual abuse of our children in children's home funded by the government, what will they do first thing? They will say, let us see how we could correct it. Let us see how we could protect our children. Let us identify the things in the report that we could fix immediately. I know if it was Kamla Persad-Bissessar who was Prime Minister, she would have immediately been taking steps to protect our children.
Hey. Sound it.
So when faced with the music, when people started to talk about these shocking revelations, our incompetent and clueless Prime Minister came to Parliament with a blatant lie about something 25 years ago. Like he feel nobody will remember. So he came to blame Kamla and blame the UNC, and he was claiming that the Kamla Persad-Bissessar and the former UNC government covered up a report on child abuse from 1997 called the Sabga report. Now for those of you, it is now in the public domain. The Sabga report indicated that there was a pedophile ring run by senior officials responsible for the care of children in children's homes. And it implicated, hear this, senior politicians. And Mr. Sabga further said in a recent interview, I cannot call names, but none of those politicians were in the UNC. So where were they? They are in the PNM. So tonight, while Rowley is calling on somebody to investigate something from 25 years ago, I want to join him because I want to support the leader of opposition who made a call for the police to investigate these long-standing pedophile rings operating within the PNM. And legal experts are telling us that even though this took place 25 years ago, nothing prevents the police from taking action. Lock them up from our side. Lock them up and protect our children. Our leader of opposition, when she made this call, also asked Keith Rowley to list the names of his PNM colleagues who are involved in this pedophile ring alleged by the former chairman of that 1997 task force, Mr. Robert Sabga. Call the names. If you are so concerned about our children and these despicable individuals, call the names and let the police lock them up. So while the Prime Minister was busy misleading the Parliament, I want to tell you further that it's not he alone, all of them in it together. It's not only Darren Smith as a sexual predator they protected. All you remember he? Yeah. All ever hear about the Darren Smith report? They take government money and pay the victim of sexual harassment and quiet down everything. Our taxpayers' dollars, eh? That report they had, they sweep it under the carpet. But that is usual PNM behavior. But the leader of government business, who is also the head of the Women's League of the PNM, Mrs. Camille Robinson-Regis, sat in Parliament while Mr. Rowley went on his rant, blaming UNC, blaming Kamla. I wonder how she could sit there, allowing her Prime Minister to mislead the Parliament and say that the government, her government, did not know about the contents of that Sabga report. Well, you know, in Parliament, everything you say, they record it. There's something called the Hansard. And when we go back, the Hansard clearly shows that the previous government, which both Rowley and Camille Robinson-Regis were part of, not only knew about the report, they acknowledged the importance of the report. They sat in Parliament and agreed to certain things and then took no action. So on this week's episode of the PNM's hopelessness, the person who manages the business of the government in our Parliament totally ignored the fact that in 2002, she was the Minister of Social Development. And there was a debate where Professor Ramesh Deosaran, who was an independent senator, referred to the Sabga report. And as minister, she in her contribution acknowledged the recommendations there. And you sit down quiet and let Rowley lie to the nation that they did not know about the Sabga report. They are covering up for the pedophiles in the PNM, and the police must lock them up. My friends, enough is enough. This sick PNM government's blatant lying, total lack of integrity, their refusal. It is not that they are not able to, you know. They are refusing to face what is taking place in the children's homes in this country. And it is just a pure demonstration of betrayal to the children and the women of this nation who are victims of abuse and violence. But that is what you get from a Prime Minister who sees women as golf courses to be groomed. A Prime Minister whose only extent of concern is to tell you, I am not in your bedroom, choose your man wisely. What are you going to tell those children who are in children's homes funded by the government, who are being preyed upon by sexual predators? You're not in their bedroom? In state-funded children's homes? My friends, I am appealing to the mothers of this country. We must not allow this PNM and Rowley regime to change the conversation away from them taking responsibility for the sexual abuse in homes outlined by the Judith Jones report. And if anyone is found to be responsible, the police must lock them up. So Monday, Ole Boy come in Parliament to blame UNC once again. And you know, it's just cheap and shallow politics. It's blame UNC, blame Kamla, blame COVID, blame the war in Russia. Never blame PNM, and they are in charge. They have been totally incompetent, and all they do is throw blame on others. And it demonstrates that their politics is not about having ideas and dealing with problems facing our vulnerable children in these homes. It is about making baseless accusations, scandalous accusations, so that everybody will woo and you're watching so. And meanwhile, they go along the road the next direction. The silence of Camille Robinson Regis is not only insulting to our children, it is degrading, it is hypocritical. And that silence is protecting a ring of pedophiles identified in the Sabga report. And to protect a sexual predator is a criminal act in this country. So police need to come for Camille as well. All those who are responsible for protecting sexual predators, call the police and let them lock them up. Camille Robinson Regis says only have mouth to defend Foster Cummings, who thief in land, to defend Faris Alwari, who getting millions of money in rent, to defend the failures of the PNM, and to attack anybody who dare speaks out against the PNM. What about the pleas of our children? Are they not worthy of her defense as a woman, as a mother, as a human being, for God's sake? The actions of this government, including the women of the PNM, is part of the protection that the PNM has been giving to sexual predators. And it has to be seriously addressed. It was interesting to see that Mr. Robert Sabga gave an interview recently. So he indicated he was the chairman of this task force, which was appointed in 1997, to investigate conditions in children's homes at that time. And two of the most powerful statements that he made concerning the work of his committee was that he said that the report disappeared. Disappeared, you know. The report disappeared at the level of the middleman, the public service. So somewhere between here to there, the report disappeared. And he maintained that the United National Congress government actioned the report via implementing recommendations and creating legislation. The record shows that the UNC took action when they were informed that children were facing abuse in these homes. He also said, but some of the names that emerged in the course of our discussions were very high level, very prominent individuals. A couple of them in the political sphere, but no, not in the UNC. I made that very clear. This is not a political statement. I am not casting blame. I'm just telling you as a matter of fact. End quote. So the record is very clear. While Rowley came to the parliament to say that the UNC did nothing, the record shows that the UNC immediately actioned the report and put recommendations for and created legislation. And some of the legislation enacted out of that Sabga report was since under the Pandey government. And as I tell you, the record stands. Facts are there. So the bills that were introduced in 1999 under the Pandey government, you remember Kamla Prasad Bisesa was a part of that government. She was a Minister of Education, she was a Minister of Legal Affairs. But in response, that Pandey government set up a joint select committee and they passed in the year 2000 the Children's Authority Bill 1999, the Children's Amendment Bill 1999, the Adoption of Children Bill 1999, and the Miscellaneous Provisions Children Bill in 1999. And you know what happened when government changed? The PNM refused to implement these major legislation to protect the children, because they are interested in protecting their own, the wrongdoers, the rapists and pedophiles. Kamla Prasad Bisasa, as Prime Minister, had an entire ministry dedicated to children and gender issues. What does Keith Rowley have? As soon as that man became Prime Minister, he scrapped that Ministry of Child and Gender Affairs. You know what he do? He make a little department in the office of the Prime Minister to deal with children issues and gender issues. So, women issues now fall under the man who want to groom golf courses, the man who not in a bedroom, that is his care and concern. So they put the cat to watch the butter. They put the mouse to guard the cheese. Keith Rowley is the least qualified person to deal with children and gender and women issues in this country. So when I saw his desperate attempt to bring up something from 25 years ago, I know and you know that the PNM has been in power for 14 of those 25 years. But they want to condemn the UNC for the Sabga report. Hypocrites, total hypocrites. And we have had enough of your lies. It is time for the PNM to go. Rowley must go. We will not be lectured. Well, it isn't be a lecture, it is be more of a buff up. We will not be lectured and buff up by a Prime Minister whose leadership has destabilized and decimated the future of thousands of children in this nation. This is the man who cut laptops, who cut gate funding, who is leaving our children unprotected from crime and the relentless activities causing parents to lose their jobs. That is Keith Rowley. In all your desperation, Keith Rowley, you could try as much as you want to bring lies upon Kamla Prasad Bisesa. It was Kamla Prasad Bisesa who led the most compassionate government when it came to children, protection of children in this country. From baby grants to government specially geared towards the development of children, to the construction of schools, to the actually making the Children's Authority a reality. So your lies in the mid-year review does not put meals on the tables of our families. Some parents, as speakers before me mentioned, cannot send their children to school. And Colm Imbert is telling you that things are rosy with the economy. Maybe things rosy for the PNM friends and financiers, because every day we hearing about who getting land. All they getting land? Who getting land? We have people getting millions and millions in rent. We have people interfering with children and getting away with it. So who things looking rosy for? Not us. Pensioners going to lose their pension. And Imbert is there smiling. And we ain't riot yet. Well, we have a finger we will riot with. There's an election due this year, a local government election. And we must all say enough is enough, time to get rid of this PNM government. Keith Rowley is a sick man. He is obsessed with power. He is obsessed with Kamla Prasad Bisesa because he knows that he cannot perform like she did as a Prime Minister. Keith Rowley does not take responsibility for the failures and the incompetence of his government. And we must tell him enough is enough. And I want to repeat my support for the call made by the leader of opposition, Kamla Prasad Bisesa. to investigate the findings, investigate and tell the nation who are the pedophiles in the PNM that has been protected by the silence and the hypocrisy of the PNM government over the last 25 years. And Keith Rowley, if you name man, give the names to the police and let them lock them up. It is not just that Rowley must go. It is this whole PNM must go. Sound it! Sound it! Sound it! The PNM has proven to be corrupt. They have proven to be incompetent. They have proven to be arrogant. They are raising gas prices and laughing at us. All you remember Imbut? I raise it, they in riot. I raise it again, they in riot. I might raise it again. And he did. And he's laughing. And we must stand against that. This week, the Minister of Finance announced that all you're getting property tax in your waist. Food price going up. So by the end of the year is property tax. All now food prices keep skyrocketing. Job loss left, right and center. Salaries 0%, 0%, 0%. We have to say enough is enough. Rowley and the whole of the PNM must go. My brothers and sisters in Sangre Grande, we must get ready to return a UNC government, a government who delivers. The record shows that the UNC performed and the PNM has been incompetent. It is time for us to do something. Enough is enough. I thank you.
Thank you very much, MP Ameen. My brothers and sisters, my UNC family, you have heard it from our MP, Ms. Khadijah Ameen. The choice is yours. As MP will have stated, we are in the doors, the corridors of a local election. Day in and day out, our MPs, our senators, our councillors, our aldermen, and you all, the activists on social media, we are seeing what is going on under this PNM regime. I ask you, my brothers and sisters, Toco Sangre Grande, how much more will you take from this incompetent, careless PNM government? It's time that we wake up. Yes, we would have made a mistake in 2020. That is okay. We forgive you. But I tell you, my friends, do not repeat that mistake again. Let us come together under one party, one umbrella, the United National Congress, one political leader, the next Prime Minister, the People's Choice Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar. I thank you, my brothers and sisters. I thank the engineering team, Mr. Achi. I thank all the members of NATEX, MPs, everyone who would have spoken on the platform here tonight, and of course, you, the people of the audience here tonight. Thank you very much. I want to also acknowledge his MP, the St. Augustine posse in the house, the chairman of the St. Augustine constituency executive, Mr. Amit. I saw him somewhere around. Yes, Friar, I see you also. So my friends, before we end, I just want to make a statement. I just want to let you all know there are light refreshments before you leave. So as you leave, you can collect which doorway by? As we exit, there will be some refreshments there. So again, we thank you very much. I ask you to remain intact with our platforms. We have the Monday night forum, we have the Douglas Politics, we have the TNT Speaks, and on Sundays we have where the MPs and senators report to you, and I think on a Thursday also TT Speaks, yes. On Saturdays? Yes, on Saturday we have the parliamentary meeting at a National Congress at Couva South Hall. So we invite you all to journey with us, lock on, to reach home safe, stay united as one, and we ask you to join us as we continue fighting this fight. I thank you.
Every place in my life, every living day. A happy place in my life, every living